I am in my pajamas and I think that's okay because I'm not leaving the house today because I'm tired. I'm gonna go through all the books on my physical TBR. So as you may know, or as you can may see, I have my TBR shelf over here, all the books in rainbow order, but it only goes up to green. Yeah, that's because blue, purple and pink are there because they don't fit on there because I have too many books. That's okay, that's so fine. That's kind of the point of this video because I'm gonna try and not buy books for a bit until about maybe August, because I want to like go on a book shopping spree and be excited to buy a book, because although I love buying books, of course, I'm not like excited to buy books because I know that I have so many. So I'd rather just like not buy any books throughout July than go on a book shopping spree, because that sounds fun. So I'm gonna do that. And also I need to actually read the books I have on my TBR and maybe get them all to fit back on one shelf again, but then I'll completely ruin that with my haul. So yeah, we're gonna go through rainbow order because that makes sense, and also because that's how they're displayed. I could have taken them all down, but then also, why would I need to? I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, the first red book is Don't Fear the Reaper, and the reason why I grabbed this book is because this is a series. The first book is called My Heart is a Chainsaw, and then we have Don't Fear the Reaper. This was the last book that I bought before I'm kind of going on a book buying ban, because I found out this was a sequel and I really wanted to read it. It's like slasher vibes, hardcore, and I think that's great. It's by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm just looking forward to it. They're good length as well, I think. I think there's meant to be a third book coming out in this series, but it's not been released. This only came out this year. Okay, the next books we have are Ragdoll by Daniel Cole and The Silent Patient by Alex Michael Bez. So this one's part of a series as well. Well, it might not be a series, or it could be. Endgame and Hangman. I think Hangman's next. So it's Ragdoll, Hangman, and then Endgame. I think it's maybe just the same detective that links them all. What can I say? Then The Silent Patient. People were raving about this and I saw that it was only £3 in the works, so I nabbed it. The Silent Patient. And I guess it's just to figure it out. It's quite short, so I'll maybe read this. Then I've got The Girl Before by G.P. Delaney. Then I have my first Catherine Foxfield book, which is It's Behind You. All her books are gorgeous and I really want to read them. This is YA, and It's Behind You is a reality TV game which will scare you to death. I did start to read this before and DNF'd it, but that was like last year, so it doesn't mean. The last two books on the little edge panel there are 13 Minutes and Do No Harm. Do No Harm is by Jack Jordan. This was Waterston's Book of the Month a couple months ago, and it's about a doctor who's had or a surgeon that's had his child taken away from him, and he's supposed to kill a patient on the operating table. Then this is YA by Sarah Pinborough. So I was dead for 13 minutes now. I don't want to know why. I also started to read this one time. I got 57 pages in, then I stopped reading it. We've got The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I've read all of her other books. This one's signed as well. So I've read The Hunting Party and The Paris Apartment before, and I thought they were both good. They weren't my favourite thrillers, but I think this is meant to be her best one. Then I've got Anthony Horowitz's Magpie Murders. So I do want to give this a chance, but it's very chunky, so I don't actually know when I'm going to get around to it. Okay, our first non-thriller. First non-thriller is Book Lovers. So these are my 3 Emily Henry books that I need to read, which are Beach Read, You and Me on Vacation, and then Book Lovers are 3 romances that are currently out in paperback, and I'm very excited to read these. I'm going to do a reading vlog for the trio, and Beach Read was on my TBR this month. I don't think I'm going to get around to it because I think I'm only fitting in one more book this month, and I'll tell you which one that is. And yeah, love. So those are those, and I'm excited to read those. I've just not been I've read a lot of romances this month, so I've not really been in the mood to read another one. And also it's not been that sunny here recently, so not been wanting to read the summer books. I have Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is book 1, book 2, it's a duology, and just a nice wee fantasy romance book, I believe. I really don't know much about it. I'm gonna go on blind with these, but I've never read a duology. Well, not ever, but like I've never really read a fantasy duology. Sometimes trilogies are a bit more daunting. If I like find the first book okay, I'll give the second book a chance, and then but then there'll only be one book left, so I'll feel like I need to read the third book. Whereas, so I know I'm going into it reading 3 books, which is a bit daunting sometimes, but when there's only 2, I'm like, I can push these out the bag, get them done, and it's gonna be fabulous. Well, maybe shit, but it could be fabulous. 2 Stephen King books that I have are Fairy Tale and Billy Summers. I've read Misery. I read that this year and it was alright, and you know, our gal Haley was reading Stephen King, and this one's more of a crime novel, and then this one's about a guy that follows a dog like into a porthole and goes to see a new world. So they're a bit not really horror, but I do love a good horror book. But I've not read many of his horror books. Sorry for the squeaky floors. I have Stuart Turton's The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, but I've never actually read a book, like a Groundhog Day book. Apart from How to Survive Your Murder, but it's not really a Groundhog Day. They're not repeating fully, just only repeats very slightly. I have a YA book, This Lie Will Kill You by Chelsea Pitcher. Sorry, my boyfriend just sent me a text that says, I will lock you in the freezer and wait 100 years. I'll find context for that later. Got The Fire Keeper's Daughter by Angeline Bowley. Given this as a gift, so I'm not sure when I'll actually get around to that, but I'm sure it'll be fine when I do. I have Black Lake Manor by Guy Morpus, and it's like a locked room thriller with a murderer on the loose and a killer that can unwind time. Then I have Buried by Linda LaPlante. This is a series. I believe there's also Judas Horse and Vanish, just with this Detective Jack War. She has so many books. This is the Detective Jack War series. One of the most recent books I bought is The Sanctuary. I actually got this when I was at Waterston's getting My Heart is a Chainsaw, and the guy at the till was like, I'll give you this for the buy one get one half price deal, even though that one wasn't buy one get one half price. And I was like, I'm not gonna say no, am I? Because it's a horror thriller. And I was like, what an absolute gem. Anyway, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I've sort of read parts of this before when I was little. I never finished it. And oh, by the way, this was by Andrew Hunter Murray. I have the last book in the ACOTAR series. Well, not the last book. The last book that's out so far. Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. And I'm really looking forward to this because I'm excited to see how she sort of develops Nesta a bit, the sister, because that's what this book is about, her and Cassian, I believe. Loved every other book in this series. They're at least 4 stars. And so yeah, so I'm excited to read this. Although it's a chunky boy, man. Like, Jesus Christ, look at that. I have Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness. This is the 3rd book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. I also have Snowscape, which is a little novella that you read alongside this book. And then I will have completed the whole Chaos Walking universe. And I love 1017. I have All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. And I believe this is about 2 boys, it's young adult, 2 boys that are the last people on the planet. So, you know, they're just hanging out together as you would. I have Death Knocks Twice and Murder in the Caribbean. These are the last 2 Robert Thorogood Death in Paradise novels. He's written 4, I've read 2 of them, and these are the only ones I have left. Death in Paradise is a BBC show, like sort of it's a whodunit crime show in the Caribbean. It's really funny and I love it so much. And I've been enjoying reading the novels surrounding D.I. Richard Poole. You get, in the real show, there's multiple different detectives as you go further, but D.I. Richard Poole's the first one. He's my favourite, and I'm so glad that I get more of him in these books. It's great. I then have Liar Liar by M.J. Ardledge. I have 2 other M.J. Ardledge books, are No Way Back and Running Blind. They're 2 little novellas for this series. This is the D.I. Helen Grace series, and all the books are sort of written after nursery rhymes. So this is book 4, and I've read Eeny Meeny, Pop Goes the Weasel, and The Doll's House, and then this one's Liar Liar, Pants on Fire. And they're all very interesting. They're all about serial killers, so far at least, and I really enjoy them. I don't know why, they're just sort of quick, easy reads for me. They're all thrillers. I have Benjamin Stevenson's Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone and Martin Edwards' Gallows Court. This is the start of a series, I believe. It's set in London 1930, nice wee cosy crime mystery from then. Then this one, I think, could even be more of a contemporary novel. It's about this family. They've all killed someone at some point in their life, and a body's shown up with sort of their family's classic MOs, like sort of motifs, and it looks like it's someone in the family that's done it, but we don't know which one. There's a guy standing on the pole. Then we have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is, it's not really a series, but kind of is. Book 3 in her sort of STEM romance series. So we've had Love on the Brain and The Love Hypothesis. And I just really enjoy these. Like, I will eat these up every single time. I don't care if they're cliched. I don't care how anyone else feels about them. I love them and I will always read her books. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Moharan. This is a 3-book trilogy, I believe. Blood and Honey and Gods and Monsters, I think, are the other 2 books. Got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is about Addie LaRue. She makes a deal with the devil, I think, and which means that she gets to live forever, but no one remembers her after they've sort of left her. Like the silence in Doctor Who. And then we have Brouhaha by Ardal O'Hanlon. So when I was talking about Death in Paradise, Ardal O'Hanlon plays the 3rd DI called DI Jack Mooney in the Death in Paradise series, and this is a novel that he's written, and it's just a cosy crime in Ireland because he's Irish, and I'm so excited because he's probably one of my favourite detectives. They're all my favourite detectives. I love that show so much. I'm excited to see how his writing goes. Also, this like cover is sort of more gritty than normal, and I really like it. Feels really like really fun. I have Jackson Ford's A Shitload of Crazy Powers. This is part of the Frost Files series, which contains 4 books so far, I believe. This is book 4. I've actually only read the first one. I bought this one first because I didn't realise it was a series, so I just happened to buy book 4, so I need to buy book 2 and 3 so that I can actually get around to reading this one, because this one sounds like my favourite. The 2 Christina Lauren books I have, The Soulmate Equation and The Unhoneymooners. Also, this cover is not as good as the American cover, and I'm really mad about it because that one's so pretty. So I've not read a Christina Lauren book. I'm expecting their books to be great, but I can't buy any more of theirs because I need to read these ones first. I'll be reading this one soon, so this is a summer book. I have The Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I've read The X Talk by her, and I found it okay. It was just like your classic rom-com. I think I only rated it 3 stars. I got this because the cover is bloody gorgeous. Look at that. That's so nice. Don't even know what it's about, but I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna enjoy it. And I think I'll probably not read it until honestly winter, because honestly maybe even next April. I may have this on me for a while. I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. She wrote the Rock Paper Scissors book, which I actually haven't read. But everyone raves about it, so I'm going to read this one first, and then I'll get that one if I love this one, which I'm kind of expecting to. And this is about the Darker family. Enemy of Verity by Colleen Hoover. My first Colleen Hoover book. Don't know when I'm actually going to get to it. It's just a thriller in it. People say that it's not very exciting, but I wanted to read a Colleen Hoover book before I... He's giving me... finished the toll, and he was like, I didn't expect that, and he's just giving me his review. It's so cute. I have A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. This is about a serial killer cannibal who loves to cook, and I think she's like how your lover would taste sauteed with shallots and mushrooms and deglazed with a little red wine. And it's going to be so sinister, and I think it's also going to be great, but like, ooh. I have Richard Osman's The Bullet That Missed. This is book 3 in the Thursday Murder Club series. So we got The Thursday Murder Club, The Man Who Died Twice, and then The Bullet That Missed. And I really like the Thursday Murder Club series. It's about 4 elderlies in a home, and they're always just solving murders, and they just have the best personalities, and I just love them all. They're just so funny, and you get to see like Joyce's diary, and I think it's just really interesting. The last 2 Karen M. McManus books I have are Nothing More to Tell and You'll Be the Death of Me. I've actually started this one before and I never finished it. I've read all her books apart from these ones, and then One of Us is Back is coming out soon, which is the 3rd book in the One of Us is Lying series. I have My Sister the Serial Killer by... That's her name. I'm never going to pronounce that right in any shape or form, so you can just look at that to give the author credit, because I'm sure she's fab. I also have The Confession by John Grisham, my first John Grisham book, and I think it's just an innocent man faces execution, only a guilty man can save him, so like only the guy that actually did it, if he confesses, he will save the guy that's about to be killed. I have then The Maid by Nita Prose and Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Eliasines. The last 3 books on this shelf are The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, You Were Gone by Tim Weaver, and then the last one's, actually I've just realised I have another of her books, so I'll do that one last. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett is about two twins. They're both black and they've been kind of separated. One of them is still stuck in the town that she wants to leave, and the other one like secretly passes as white in a higher society. So it's just a contemporary novel about that, and I think that'll be really good. And then You Were Gone was about a guy that's buried his wife. A woman walks into the police station and she says he's his wife, no ID, and it's like a day later she vanishes, and now he's like, what is going on? Then the other book, the last book on this shelf, is Worst Idea Ever. And I also have Just Got Real by Jane Fallon, so these are her two books. And I think they'll just be fun little romances. I don't know when I'll get around to them, but they both seem like quite entertaining. And this one has a dog on the cover, and this one has a cactus. And they're pretty. So these three books are too massive to go in colour order on the shelves. They're the last three books in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I've read the first one this month, and then these are the next three, and they are my friend's books. I'm borrowing them because she's on holiday, so she just gave me them all. So we have Hunting Prince Dracula, Escaping from Houdini, and Capturing the Devil, and I think they're all as they sound. I have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister and Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. She's trying to stop a murder that's already happened, and I just think that would be interesting. I have The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. This is actually the book I'm going to read next. This is a sequel to The Family Upstairs. We've got Our House by Louise Candlish. I've read The Other Passenger by her, and it wasn't my favourite. I found it just a bit dull. The next two books I have are A Murder Inside by Frances Brodie and Taylor Jenkins Reid's Forever Interrupted. Murder Inside is a prison-based cozy crime mystery, and Taylor Jenkins Reid Forever Interrupted. This is her first book, I believe, and it's also the first book I will be reading of hers, but also like a good contemporary novel, something that I think I may cry at, but I'm very interested in that. Then got Alison Weir's Six Tudor Queens, Book 5, Catherine Howard, The Tainted Queen. These are all about Henry VIII's wives. I've read the first four books with the first four wives, and I kind of love them all. And they're all fiction, they're works of fiction, but you get to sort of see how they all intertwine with each other and just the lives of these women, sort of bringing attention to them. I love Six the musical, so therefore I love these books. I don't know what it is, but I don't find them boring at all, but I feel like other people could, but they're just historical fiction, and I just love them. I then got In Case of Emergency by Pernabelle. Girlie gets hit in maybe like a car accident or something. She gets into an accident, she ends up in the hospital. Her ex is like her first point of call on her info sheet, so naturally he's come to pick her up, and it goes from there. I've then got Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alyssa Thompson. Then we have Bunny, which is basically a cult-like book, where they all call each other Bunny, and it gets a bit creepy, and I've heard people really find this book really uncomfortable, so that makes me excited to read it. The final two books on my TBR is Jenny Colgan's An Island Wedding. So she writes loads of romances. This is about multiple different couples on this island, and they're all sort of having budding romances. You've got Olivia and Anthony, Flora and Joel, and Lorna and Safe. And then the final book I have is Riley Thorne and the Corpse in the Closet. This is the sequel to Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door, and then the book after this is Riley Thorne and A Blast from the Past. They're romance books, but obviously with a little murder thrown in there. They're by Lucy Score, who's written so many goddamn books. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's all the books on my TBR. That's every single one of them. Wow. My throat is like dying. But I'm excited. I do have a load of good books here, and once I've read The Family Remains, I will then review all the books that are in June, so you can be looking out for that one. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.